But any decision we make today may change tomorrow. In order to have the best expert advice, we have commissioned
Supercoach 360.
If the time's going up, it's recording.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, time for the show.
Mate, 100%.
We need to find out why they think it's okay to say anything.
It's certainly one of the greatest challenges in the history of the game.
That's what they want to try and do. Megastar to megastar!
In this regard, we're leaving every option on the table.
Excellent. What was that, buddy?
Something special.
You know,
That's not talent.
Supercoach 360.
The best way to handle these things is to stay measured, stay calm, live your life as normal.
Unless we start finding it off the people who actually it makes their little ordinary life feel a little bit better for that moment.
Supercoach 360 podcast.
It's crack-a-lackin'. It's Tuesday. Welcome to Supercoach. It's 360. I'm in the coach's caravan of courage with Bergs, Con, and of course, Louis. We're here to talk all things Supercoach, round 21, round 22, head-to-head finals, Trell, Munster, the big boys of the week, and heaps more. We're joined by Ross Mann and Brad Smith. We're going to peruse some team lists, and Brad's got a few players to look out for over the next few rounds. We're going to talk head-to-head. We're going to talk heaps of stuff. So, first things first, boys. Are you still alive in your head-to-heads?
Oh, I'm going to take this one.
Yep.
I'm still alive in my one and only Cashy.
Yep.
And I had the week off last week, so I got to save trades.
Yep.
Now I'm playing for a spot to go straight through into the grand final this week. So, yeah, 2 trades this week. Probably going to save them. See what my opponent's rocking. Maybe wait a game or 2. See if I have to either copy or pot on, or maybe I can save the trades for another week.
Yeah, now see that's interesting. That's one of the things I'm thinking about. I'm still alive in my head-to-head. I've got a vastly different team to my opponent this week. I'm a bit worried about it, to be honest. I'm heavily stacked with Panthers players. Not that they would necessarily be trade options, but
I think you got to look at it kind of like I personally look at a hand at Tex Hold'em. Pre-flop, you might as well buy in, see what they're rocking, because anything can happen. Pre-flop, everyone's got their own 2 cards. Anything can happen after that turn, so it's kind of like Supercoach. With the 10 difference, anything can happen after those first 2 games, and you can be that far ahead or that far behind that you need to pot on, or you can save trades or copy captain or all kinds of things. There's plenty of things to kind of think about with the head-to-head finals.
Well, that's it. Take me through, because I've never been in this position before, and I've got, I think, 3 trades.
Well, I'm looking at it from a cash point perspective where I've got a second chance. If I lose this week, I've still got another chance next week.
You don't have that.
No, I don't. I'm ride or die.
I don't want to rely on that second chance. So I want to go into this week, win it, go straight through to the grand final with a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look at what my opponent's doing for the first probably Thursday game. I'm going to use one trade, because substituting Tago's dual position is viable to one of my trades. So I have to use that one before Thursday, because unfortunately Panthers play Thursday. But then I'm going to save my second trade, see what happens on the Thursday, Friday night, judge where I'm at, see if I have to use this trade, or if I have to go a full pot option with that trade, or if we just bank that trade, save it for next week. And
it's an interesting one, because
you don't have the luxury that he has.
No.
You have to make right decisions.
But he does, in a way.
He
can still sit there if he doesn't have any clean straight out Storm or Panthers player, or they're not involved in a dual trade.
I'm assuming May would be one of your ones that you're looking at get offloaded.
I can't even substitute a player on my reserves. Can I still substitute them around once they're locked, or are they locked into their position?
If you got Tago in centres and you want to trade out a Tarpany after Thursday, Tungo's locked in the centres, you can't bring him up.
Yeah, it's it. I can't even substitute him. So
So it does limit your options that way.
But for me, if I'm you,
I could probably work around that, to be honest, because I've still got the 4 playing centres.
Well, you can do what I do and just use that one trade to get Tarpany out, bring Tungo up, bring in the centre, fullback, or whatever you want,
See, I've already got Tungo up.
and then save that other trade. Well,
I was actually going to bring him back down and just move enough up there, just so that way I've got him down in the centres. I don't know why. I think it was because I'm targeting a centre to bring in.
he's not a play this week, I don't think, Tungo.
I don't know. Well, see, that's one of the other things about this week, which makes these decisions so hard. It's a round of tough matchups. And the next few weeks are going to be like this. Head-to-head finals. Supercoach has got a big old twist this year in that, well, the players that most of us have in our teams have all got pretty tough draws.
Oh,
Cowboys and Sharks excluded, I think.
It's a broad. Well, even though you've got so many, but it's broadcaster's dream, Supercoach nightmare.
Yeah, because, you know, I've
All
got
the top teams just playing each other week in, week out, and it's
I got 6 players in that first game, I think.
yeah. Well, a lot of people would be highly invested in that first game.
6 or 7, maybe even more. You know, like
Kick out Tungo, May,
Yo,
Yo,
Grant, Munster.
That's it.
Appy's even out there.
Yeah,
in a few
Appy's
sides.
big owned.
Yeah, I think Dylan Edwards is even.
Critter's a bit of a pod.
So it is a big game, that Thursday one.
That's what I mean.
For me, you've really got to look at. Do you want to keep one or two of those dudes? Because you've got both May and Targo, don't you?
No, I offloaded May ages ago. Best thing I ever did.
All right. Well, for me, you could probably sit Targo if you didn't have to play him, but I don't know the makeup of your squad probably. But for me, Juzzy, you've got to make the moves this week. Whereas Con, he still has a little bit of luxury. He just wants to assure himself the best possible.
Yeah,
position.
well, that's it. I understand his strategy. So the question is,
That's a
like,
good
with these tough
strategy.
matchups, I've got 3 trades left. I was planning on using 1 trade per week and just sort of limiting myself to that. But now I'm like, do I use the extra trade?
Well, have you looked at the Pigeons team? Have you looked at Jacko's team?
I have. I have.
It's a good team. I've played it a couple of
It
times
is.
in different leagues throughout the year this year, and he's done well all year, Jacko. He's very impressive Supercoach-wise this year.
You've obviously been listening to the podcast last few years.
Heavily. But yeah, he's done very well this year, and you got a tough matchup, Juzzy, and that's what I'm saying. Like, as a podcast, we want you to do well. Pidge is out, mate. But as a podcast, we want to help you the best we can, and not saying we wouldn't do that for Jacko as well. But
So
No, you're saying fuck you, Pidge, and we
players.
probably
I mean,
runs a
he's-
little bit drying up. But yeah, he's still got a couple of good ones in there.
Yeah, he's got correct.
Bottom of the 8 finisher.
100%.
You've got work to do.
Oh, I've got to play every game
But
and
it's
win
not-
every game.
It's not impossible to be done. Like, so, I've seen it done countless times where 8th position comes all the way home and takes the cookies, because it's Supercoaches. We know from past years, we all know, you can be riding high with the flushes team. Next thing you know, the rest of the next 3 weeks, you're sitting there playing 15s and 14s, and there's nothing you can do.
Not just that, we've seen where players have been sitting in the top 100 overall, struggling to make an 8 in the top in the head-to-head league,
Yeah.
but clearly they got the best team overall, but everyone's just having a good week, or they're just having that little off week against them, but once push comes to shove, the cream rises to the top.
Yeah. And that's why I come like 20th in everything this year. Sorry, guys. Let us down as a podcast in all the seeded leagues.
It's all right, mate.
So I feel like we've
One
talked
position
about
back.
it, but I still have no idea what I'm going to do, and I don't know if I've learned anything. Yeah, I'm really worried about this week, and I got no idea what to do.
I think unless the Storm or Panthers players are involved in your trades, you save the 2 trades, have a look, see what his team looks like compared to yours on actual game day, see what Thursday night produces for each of yous, and then reassess
Friday.
and judge accordingly after that.
Because you might have to make them 2 trades after game 1. You don't know. But like he said, if someone comes out and does a tap and he gets knocked out, gets a 4, that puts you in a good stead. You know, it puts you virtually a player in front.
Well, so say this.
Hypothetically.
He captains Munster. Munster scores 22. Then you look there and you think, well, I could probably save these 2 trades, at least until Saturday-ish kind of thing, and then reassess after Saturday or halfway through Super Saturday. And I think you just got to play it by ear at this time of year.
But you also got to be on top of it. Can't be going to no family barbecues and checking your phone at 9 o'clock and go, oh, fuck, I've messed this up. Because you got to remember there's 2 G's on the line. Like that's a good little thing, you know. It's a good pocket. So if I'm you, I'm focused as much as I can over. That's for everyone that's in cashies out there. Focus as much on as you can on what's going on at the football and what your opponent's doing. Because you got to remember they're probably playing with tactics as well. They're probably saving their trades till the very last minute that they have to use them, and they're watching your squad. Assume that they are. Assume that they're better than us.
If you know them,
You know?
take me out, get them drunk, and suggest wild things to them.
How's that worked for you in the past, Con?
Oh, bro, yeah.
Gregory's got Connor quite a few times. Don't you worry about that. He hasn't screwed over any opponents, but he's got me a few times.
I love how he's like, get your mates, go out and drink. And he's like, get my alter ego, stay home and
All
drink.
right, just quickly, while we're talking head-to-head still, is there anyone you would specifically target this week or next?
Well, first one, Mulatalo.
Ronaldo.
Now, you've been saying this for weeks. Do I do it? Do I pull the trigger on old Ronaldo?
I pulled the trigger this week.
Yeah.
I think this is the week to do it. He's, $410,000?
Something like that, yeah.
So, if you've got someone like an Isaiah Tass or someone, which is an $8,000 swap to Ronaldo with a run home, South run home, my opinion, it's a no-brainer. Get on board.
He's without the tries, he's very
40-ish.
He's a 40-ish, which don't get me wrong, it's not bad.
What does Tungo and May do without tries and shit?
Yeah,
It's true.
that's why
30 to 40.
I don't have either of those.
There's not many
I've
backs
got
without
Tugos.
tries that go 70.
Yeah, it's 40 for a back, you know,
That's
without
it.
tries. is decent.
Even Toto this year's not pushing the 60 base like he was last year. Like a 50 base for a back this year's
Solid.
pretty
Well,
outstanding.
they're spreading the love a lot this year.
Yeah.
No, there is a couple to look at over the next coming weeks. So if I wasn't a Ruben Cotter owner, I'd probably look at Ruben Cotter. I'm an owner, so it's not an issue for me. But if
you had Tarpany and you're looking to go somewhere,
you got
I think
some
Ruben's
jewels,
going to continue his 80 minutes from when he was pre-injury, pumping out those 70s at least every week.
well, he looked good last week coming back and
He's
played some good minutes. So
and they're going to want him doing his proper role come finals time.
well, for me, he's now a headache because I've got him up at hooker. So him and Harry Grant are locked in. I've got 2 hookers playing, 2 fullbacks playing every week.
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
If you can have 4 quality spine players playing every week, that's gold. If you don't have to use a forward or a centre wing as a reserve, you're in a really good situation, I think.
They do. He's got the solid base. That's the difference between him and Harry was getting 50s of tries. So up until last week,
Well,
which was alarming.
Like everyone's probably going to run with Harry. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people, are going to run with Harry, but that's probably the difference between the Cook and the Cotter. Cook's got that big ceiling, but he can punch out that 45, 50. Where Cotter, I think,
70s
once
all
he's
the
locked
way
in
home.
at 80 minutes from now on, he's going to be 65 plus every single week, where he could go that 100 plus if he jags a try. He's not going to go, you 170, 180 like a Cook possibly could. He hasn't, but there's always that chance, especially if Murray plays like he did in that first 30 minutes of last week. Jesus Christ. He was on fire.
Yeah. I think we do touch on some other targets for head to head with the boys later in a chat. trades this week. Just quickly, because we didn't touch on it with the boys. Now, you're looking at Trell's run, and like you were sad you didn't jump on when you wanted to, but now you said if you were owner, you'd probably maybe think about getting rid of. What's in that?
I just think his run's come to an end. I know the word of the mouth is he's matchup proof at the moment, but if you go back and actually look a bit into it, he played a Melbourne Storm in shit form that we're getting carved up on their right-hand side, which is South's strong side, their left.
Yeah.
So that was a walk in the park for him. And then the other quality team that he played was Parramatta, who were also in not great form at that time. It was around the Origin period, and shit wasn't really working for them. He came out and cleaned them up too. And apart from that, I think the other 3 teams or 4 teams that he's played have been bottom 4, bottom 6 opposition.
Yeah.
So
But really, it'll be the true test of the next coming weeks.
He plays, I think, Louis could probably tell me more than this, but I think Parramatta, Storm, Cowboys, Roosters over the next 4 weeks.
That's the Rabbitohs, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And so those first 3, they're in pretty red-hot form at the moment. Not red-hot, I wouldn't say. Storm defensively weak. Parramatta, depends which fucking one turn up. Cowboys solid.
Yeah.
But I think by the time round 25 comes, Roosters will be clicking and trotting, and
Well, they've started already. They're starting to look
shit
good
will
now,
be
yeah.
going down for there. So, all in all, I wouldn't like to have that run home.
No.
It's gonna
It's separating men
harden.
from the
It's
boys,
gonna
yeah.
harden them up for finals time, and they're going to be very well prepared come that elimination finals time. But it's going to take a lot out of them at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a tough run.
It is.
Players you're targeting, I believe, is what we were talking about.
Yeah. I just went down because I thought with the money that Trell's made, you can near go anywhere. You know, he's near at top dollar. You could bring in anyone you virtually wanted for Trell's money, but it's a matter of do you run the gamble that he is just going to score 70 or sub, hopefully. But
There wouldn't be a sane coach out there that'd agree with me just selling him.
No, but I see the merit in the draw that you're talking about. Like every one of these teams that have to play next couple of weeks are fighting for a specific spot, and Melbourne wants top 4. Cowboys
Para want top 4. Cowboys want top 2.
You know what I mean? Like every one of them wants a spot. So Souths don't have that easy game where someone's going to give up. Even if they would fly out and put a quick 20 on, I don't think the teams that they would play against would think 20's enough and they'll grind it out.
To counter that, you'd say if South put a quick 20 on, Cheryl's probably got 80 points.
Not necessarily. It could be
Not
Cody
necessarily.
Walker's time. He hasn't done shit for 6 weeks or something. Sorry, Cody. Love you, bruz. But, yeah, you know how it gets.
Yeah, I know.
It's that super coaching, mate. Like, and you know what? Could be the master stroke that carries someone up, or it could be the capitulation of the team.
Well, speaking of master strokes that can carry people up, Brad Smith and Ross Mann got together with you two boys for a chat before the show tonight.
That's capitulation.
Why don't we go have a chat with those boys, or hear the chat with those boys, and see what they have to say? Because I'm curious. I haven't even heard this chat yet, so I'm curious to see what you guys talked about and who's Brad's sort of players to target over the next few weeks.
No, it was a good chat. Good chat. All right, boys. How are we this week? Massive week of head-to-head finals. If you made it through, if you're one of the lucky ones, or you had the week off last week, did you build for this week? Like Con, did he or did he not? So, boys, how's the week going for yous?
Not a great week. Not a great round at all. Didn't have Trell, didn't have Murray, didn't have Harry Grant or any one of those other ones that went big, or Lane or anyone else, and had a shocker this week. Absolute shocker. So dropped back about 4,000 spots, and yeah, not good.
Coach Life, Brado, what about you, mate? How you been?
Yeah, I got about 1430, which at this time of year for head-to-heads, get me in most of them. I think there's only a couple
Captain
of
Munster or Luke?
Yeah, I vice captain. I went to Loop, which in the end, I actually had the captain on Trell. So I took it off Trell to go into Munster. So that sort of hurt me, but not by much. I mean, they basically finished the same. The only problem is of course, you're stuck with that, AE, which I think probably would have been about the same anyway because the bench is pretty strong.
Yeah. All right, boys. So this week, I want to chat to you about head-to-heads, what you're going to do going forward, if you want to divulge the information, that is. But there's a lot to look forward into the future too. Like with your head-to-heads going forward, you don't want to end up with the same players, and it's blokes like you who crunch the numbers and know where to go. So, what are we looking at, fellas?
All right. Well, I guess I'll kick her off. Just with my head-to-head, I really wanted to. It's important at this time of year that you have a good look at the draw because you want to be getting players that are going to perform on that particular week in which you've got your head-to-head battle. There's 3 games that really stand out. Sharks versus Tigers. Just about anybody in that Sharks back line is pretty good property, really. And having a look at the Tigers team today, yeah, definitely you've got to target it. If you got Sharks players, you need to play them. Or if you got trades, get one in.
The next 3 weeks, like all throughout the head-to-head finals, their draw is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Is there one of them that's a pod though?
Well, I have a real good look at Raymond. Now, Raymond's 615K, so he's pretty expensive, but it's I know, Con.
He's had his little 15 minutes of fame, those 4 rounds there where he killed it. Now, that's what he's attacking.
Let's have a think about this. He's got a 5-round average of 73. And give me too many players that are. You need to jump on these players when they're on the up, not when they're on the down.
He's on the down now, brother. But is he with the draw? You just said yourself their draw is juicing right up, and he found he was the only outside back out of Katoa, Ronaldo, and Talakai who found the attacking stats in those hard games. But is that when they had the cruisy runs? Raymond never seems to find an attacking stat. I don't know what it is. He's a great player. I'm not taking anything away from him, but he just can't find an attacking stat when the Sharks are cruising and scoring points at will.
Well, he hates to pass the ball, which is excellent.
Absolutely.
That's fucking excellent for Supercoach. That's what you want in your Supercoach. A bloke that won't pass the ball because he's going to crash over occasionally, And I don't know, only 2% of teams. That's in pod territory.
Just in his price over 600K, like you said, and Ronaldo, Talakai, and Katoa, all under 500K. I see so much more value in those 3 over Raymond.
Well, at this time of year, money really isn't the issue, I don't think. You should be pretty well flushed with money. So for 600, 500 is nothing.
But if you've got 4 trades and you can save 140,000 on this trade, that could change that next trade that you make drastically from going to a or an absolute weapon.
I see the value in Raymond, and especially if he has turned it around and he's picked his socks up. If the Sharks want to be contenders, then he has to be doing these runs in all these games, not just occasionally,
I own Talakai. Well, I did own Talakai. I'm actually gonna sell Talakai. I know they've got a good draw coming up, but I'm just sick and tired of holding on to him. Like that left side, he's not getting any ball. Wade Graham is a hog and he doesn't pass the ball. And I'm just going to sell him this week. I've had enough. I mean, good draw, no good draw. He's out of my team. I'm going to hang on to Mulatalo, but Talakai's gone for me this week. Can't do it any longer.
The biggest thing last week was no Matty Moylan, I think.
Yeah, but Matty Moylan's not playing this week either.
That's what I mean. Trindle didn't help get the ball to those outside.
That's what I'm saying. And Wade Graham doesn't pass. That's the problem. They're not getting any ball. I just can't justify keeping him in the team when I can bring someone like Cam Murray in who's going to pump me out a decent score every single week.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, if Souths want to go deep, they need Cam Murray to be fit and doing what he does.
Yeah. So it's all about the base versus the ceiling.
I feel he's got.
Talakai hasn't got the base. He got hooked after 70 minutes last week and for 25 points.
Where you're going to get your 65, 70 each week.
Yeah.
I feel Talakai's got the higher ceiling than Murray if he has one of those games like he did against Manly.
He hasn't had that. He hasn't had that for a long time. Unfortunately, he's been rubbish. But anyway, We'll keep going. Who else you got, Brad?
Well, I'll give you one more thing to think about with Raymond, and you know I love my points per minute, but believe it or not, his points per minute are 0.8, which is, for a back, very, very good. And that's actually better than Talakai. It's better than the other backs. So that means that he's got a slight base. He doesn't have a huge base, but he's actually got a little bit of a base hanging in there.
Raymond's got a massive base. He averages like nearly 50 in power and base stats a week. It's just his attacking stats that's let him down over the last couple of years.
If you could put an offload in the bloke, he'd be excellent. But he just tucks it and goes. But to his credit, he breaks 3-4 tackles, man, every time he runs the ball.
Yeah.
He's a demon.
Well, the other two games, I sort of had a little glance at the Broncos versus the Knights, but I think the Broncos would be really good. If you got a Bronco this week, play them, because the Knights team, they're running my eye over it. Fair dinkum. I think there's a couple of New South Wales Cup teams that could probably give the Knights a run for their money.
Hey, whoa. They beat Tigers last week. All right.
And no Barnett, who rips out 60 tackles. I don't know.
Yeah.
Up against the Broncos at home. The Broncos are at home. But anyway, I don't think it might not be too relevant, because the Broncos, I think, have got the Storm next weekend, which, might not be one to bring in. So the other game that looks really juicy is the Raiders versus the Dragons. Now, Raiders are really hard to find an attacking stat, but there are, which it goes against some of my advice earlier in the year, there is a couple of forwards that are really looking quite juicy. Now, with Tapine out, that means that your likes of Elliott, who until the last couple of weeks had been going gangbusters and averaging over 80, and the other one is Hudson Young at 550K, averaging 72 over the last 5 rounds. Only 1.6% owned. That's, wow, 72 average for 5 rounds. He's playing 80 minutes every single week. 1.5 points per minute as an average too over that short period. 1.6 last week as points per minute. Yeah, he's if you're looking for a pod that's gonna get big minutes and should have a great game against St George, who I think is going to be a bit lacking, particularly now that Sims is out as well. I wouldn't mind that trade at all. If you're just after, he doesn't have a huge ceiling, but if you're after a solid number, it's going to get you like 80 points or something.
Well, I liked Hudson Young. I liked him, but I looked at him, and his last 4 games, he's gone 40, 35, 125, and then 56. So there's 3 really subpar games in there, and then just one good game that brings his average right up, kind of thing. Because I like him. I think he's a great player. He's got a lot of stupid shit in his game, but he's a good player.
What do you think with Tapine out? And he definitely, I think he'll get a bit more.
Well, he plays on the edge. He plays 80 every week. So I can't see it really affecting his game too much. I'd say the big winner in that is Josh Papali'i and Elliott.
Yeah, I was about to say Elliott in the middle. What do you think there? Yeah.
Well, they got Gula. They got Emma Gula's been named to replace Tarpany at prop. So
he's not going to give him 60 minutes of quality like Tarpany.
No.
He's not going to get 40 out of him. So there's 20 minutes there to go to Elliott or Papali'i or.
I think if you have a look at Emre Gula's stats and when he starts, I think they're okay.
They are. His points per minute's good, but
I think he goes okay when he starts.
And you wouldn't bring him in though.
He gets a bit gassed after 30 minutes, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Could be back on the bench next week.
That's it. Like Roscoe said, Tarpany could be needed up and playing next week, and all of this could mean bugger all.
Yeah.
I like the Raiders draw home. I think the Raiders have got a good draw home, to be honest with you. But the problem is that there's none of their backs are any good to jump on. There's no one worth jumping on in that team.
Rapana has a go.
I mean, if you wanted a pod to replace Cleary, if you're still hanging on to Cleary at the moment, I don't mind Fogarty as a bit of a pod, but other than that, there's no one else in that team I really like.
I think Benny Hunt's in front of Fogarty, and I think who's the other one we talked about today? Cherry, and someone else, probably just in front of Fogarty, just on pedigree.
Well, surely if you got the Jules, Burton's got to be
Check.
your one. What
Yeah,
about Burton?
Burton.
Yeah, because
I like
Eels,
Burton.
Dogs have got a good draw home too.
I like Burton if you can use your jewels and get him
Yeah.
down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, what do you say about him and the Fox have done mad combo in the last few weeks? So
Last 2 months, probably.
yeah, they've looked really good together.
Yeah.
I think Freddie will be looking at that one.
What else
So
you got,
if-
Brad? Anything else?
Well, what do you reckon? If you got the Drulesbergs, you reckon that you should be going Drinky or Burton?
For me, I think too many people have got Drinky, so Burton's probably your look in there especially if you're trying to go that other way to everyone else. I think Drinky's not so pottish, if you know what I mean. And Birdo, sometimes his kicking game, that's the thing, he's let down. It goes a bit too far or something like that. Like that's the only worrying thing. But he gets it back now with the kicking duty, so I like him. We're scoring points as well, which is rare for us. So he's getting a few goal kicking points a week as well. So
yeah,
I like Drinky, but he just the fact that once Kyle Felt comes back and Hammer goes back to the bench, it worries me that if he has another bad game, that he might get hooked again. That's the thing. And you look at the game on the weekend, he was on 10 points after 30 minutes and turned up. I like Drinkwater, but I like Burton as a pod too. I did look at Burton a few weeks ago at getting him in, but I ended up going Dylan Brown instead, which I'm pretty happy with. But I don't hate either, really, to be honest with you.
Well, the Bulldogs play the Eels and the Sharks in the next 2, which is going to be your head-to-head preliminary final and grand final. Do you really want a Bulldogs Matt Burton up against an Eels or a Sharks who are playing for a top 4 spot? I don't. I'd take Drinkwater every day of the week just because Cowboys are a much better team.
Yeah, good point.
yeah. All right, what else we got? You going to quickly run through the team list, Rocco?
Just one more pod I want to throw in there, and obviously he doesn't have the ceiling of the other players, but he's really good price. I like his Nat Butcher too, as well. He's not very highly owned either. He's only about 450k, and he's been punching out some decent scores since he's been starting too.
Well, I owned him through the Origin period.
Yeah.
He was okay. I think he got knocked out twice. So, yeah.
No, I don't mind him as an option. Sean Lane's another good option too, I reckon too. Been punching out some decent scores as well.
Yeah, I can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
I've rubbished him in past. I've owned him too.
Well, Supercoach wise, I think you'll find he's about the form second rower or edge second rower, and Nicon. He's just about the form one there. I think Supercoach wise, I think he's got more points than anybody over the last, last 8 weeks or so, 6 weeks.
Yeah, no, he's done very well. He seems to be their weapon, Yeah,
he's running 5th for a 5-round average behind Nanai, Murray, Kalamatangi, and IPAT.
Kalamatangi, well, that might be the pod there.
He had that monster game on the weekend, which brought him right up.
And he turned up the other week as well.
Yeah.
He got 111 the other week.
Yeah, I just like Lane as a pod. Yeah, I think he's good.
Yeah.
All right, you want to pump through the team list for us, Roscoe?
Yeah, I'll go through it quickly. I think, do you want to go through the whole thing or just go through the relevant sort of Supercoach players? Yeah. All right, so first game we got Panthers against the Storm. So you got Matt Eisenhuth replacing JFH, who's out suspended, and then you got Kikau, who's been named on the extended bench after being a laid out last week. For the Storm, Cooper Johns replaces Jerome Hughes, who's out injured. Cameron Munster shifts back to 5'8". Nick Meaney returns to fullback, and Justin Olam returns from COVID, replacing Young T. The Warriors and the Dogs, there's not much really relevant there, to be honest with you. TPJ's out for family reasons, replaced by Mariner.
Just back on that last game, sorry, Roscoe.
Yep.
I wouldn't expect the Panthers to risk kicks.
And also I believe Tyrone May's in out too. Apparently he's been in a sling this week too. He's been named, but there's a good chance that he may get rested this week too, as well.
No, he's rested from the Penguins anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. And then Eels and Souths. Matto's been named despite his HIA last week, but keep an eye out for final teams for that because he could be laid out. For South, there's nothing really anything there. And then for the Cowboys, you got against the Roosters, for the Cowboys, you got Ruben Cotter returning to the starting side this week as well. And then the Tigers versus the Sharks. The only thing that's really there is Lachlan Miller's replacing Connor Tracy on the wing. And Moylan's still out, so Trindle starts at 5/8 again. The other one's a bit Supercoach relevant because Dale Finucane's back from suspension, so Cam McInnes drops back to the bench as well. And then Broncos versus Knights, you've got TMM back into the team replacing Tessie New. And for the Knights, David Clemens back in the team. And Mitch Barnett's out, he's out injured, so Matt Croker's replacing him at lock. And then for the Raiders, what's that?
Is he out injured?
Mitch Barnett's out with a thumb injury or something, apparently. Yeah, that's what they've got
Barnett's
listed as. And then for Raiders versus the Dragons, Tarpany's obviously out with his rib injury, so Guller's named to replace him at prop. And Savage is back in at fullback with Hopewadi replacing Nick Kotrick, who's out suspended on the wing. And that's pretty much it. Just briefly on teams. There's no one else that's really Supercoach relevant. So that's it.
Yeah. So Jerome Hughes and Tarpany really are the big ones to take out.
Yeah.
A lot of people brought in for Nathan Cleary last week, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I did say on the other pod that I did last week that I didn't like Hughes as a replacement, but there wasn't many other options on the Tragics pod. On the Tragics pod last week.
Where can we find that? Where can people find you on that?
On Facebook.
Yeah.
NRL Supercoach Tragics on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's on Spotify and shit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all on Spotify and everything too. Yeah. It's all on there as well. Yeah. And that's it. That's pretty much all the relevant for teams for this week.
Well, gentlemen, anything else you want to touch on or anything like that?
No, not really. Just good luck, everybody, with their head-to-head battles. Just watch out, as we said, really watch the matchups that are going to be presented there.
Well, it's a tough week for a captain this week. I sort of had a quick glance, and it's
Nico Hines the walk-up star.
Nico Hines will probably be about 40-50% captain this week at least, I reckon. There's the VC options. The VC for options for this week aren't great. I did have a look at some of them over, and I don't even think I'll bother. I'll put something on the VC, but I don't think anyone will be looping at all this week.
The biggest friendly game for that's probably the Broncos one. And unfortunately, they don't really have an outstanding Supercoach scorer where you can throw the VC on.
No, I'll probably just put mine on Munster or get Munster, but I don't think I'll be looping anything with him. So, yeah, I'll just stick with Hines like everyone else is pretty much going to be doing, I think, against the Tigers.
Yeah.
That Penrith game, who's the home team on the Penrith Melbourne game?
Penrith are at home.
Yeah, there's such Supercoach killers, Penrith and Melbourne, that either team are gonna nullify.
I know that worries me. That worries me about this week too, because I've got to play May and Targo this week, and I don't really want to play either of them, to be honest with you. Against the Storm.
Quick question, guys. With squads being the way they are now, like everyone's pretty much full strength. There's not many AE nightmares floating around. Is this a good occasion to use Nico Hines as a vice captain, knowing you pretty much got a free loop where you can, if there's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Depends on your AEs, really. I mean, I know a lot of teams are still.
If you've already got a strong 21 or 22 or whatever, and there's no AE nightmares in there, can you now start to look at a loop as a free loop kind of thing?
You should be able to.
Yeah.
You should be able to. Especially if your bench is your lowest bench is a 50 odd, you know what I mean, which is fucking great.
And you're only taking
I don't know if I'd be doing it this week, to be honest with you. The only reason why I say that is that there's not really any other good options for if other Nico Hines this week. Because after the Sharks game, you've got Broncos, Newcastle, Canberra, Dragons and Titans versus Manly. So there's really no one to
Gary?
captain after Hines.
Garrick against Titans, pretty
Maybe.
juicy.
If you own him.
I'm bringing him in this week just for that, so I can win my head-to-head matchup.
Geez, he's just watch your team list there because there could be his hip flexor injury or whatever. I'd be careful. Yeah,
That's
be careful
what
of Garrick.
I've saying for the last 5 weeks or so, Brado, and now I've just decided to bring him in for some reason to match Pat.
I'm playing him myself, but I'm worried that he's going to be ruled out at the last minute. The Desel bloody put Cooler back to fullback, and just seeing how Gutho ran round him last week so easily, and that's not normal for Garrick. He doesn't normally get run around like that.
Gutho is a speed demon.
Yeah,
not on the football field. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oops.
All right, we better wrap that up so we can go set up for the party. Thanks for that, boys.
All right, guys.
All right.
Later, boys.
Great work. If anyone's looking, find the write-ups from the boys on supercoach360.com.
Yep.
Cheers, lads.
Beautiful, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
See you, boys.
Bye.
Can't go wrong with the boys. They always give us the best that they've got. Brado's been pretty on point all year. Con does love to throw some judgment his way. So we're going to go straight there with the Raymond pick. You weren't sold on Raymond as sold as Brad. You had stats to bring up. I think Raymond's last 3 games have been all under 40.
I think it was 48, 38, 36.
So they're pretty.
So he's not peaking.
But that was through his low run.
It was through
without the attacking stats against his tough run. Now his run opens up for the way home.
I don't like. I said on the on the thing. I don't mind it, but Con has showed me his stats there, and they're a little bit alarming. They're hot and cold. You know what I mean? Like, so he does have that. He went on that run where he scored tries where he's never really done that before. So that was where his inflated average came from, I think.
Yeah, well, he had that good run where he played Storm round 17. Origin depleted. He got that 133, which boosted his 5-round average right up there. And then he played Penrith Cowboys round 18 after Origin where they arrested Bulk. He's got that 99. And then from then on, he's played Penrith, who haven't been full strength, for a 48. South Sydney for a 36, and then the Dragons for a 38. So, we all know Jesse Raymond. He's averaged maybe 4, 5, if he's very, very lucky, tries over the last so many years, about the same line breaks. He's not a big assister because he's not a big passer.
Well, the thing with that is he commands pretty much 2 defenders to stop him. So they just go straight out the back to an unmarked Katoa half the time, you know?
And that's what I mean. Like, and those 2, 133, 99, before that was a 50, 35, 53. So it's his base is great, but he just lacks the attacking stats way too much for myself. I'd rather go for $100,000 cheaper. $150,000 cheaper Ronaldo, or Talakai, or even Katoa.
Yeah.
So Talakai's an interesting one. A couple of low scores recently too.
Well, I think Roscoe's selling. Roscoe's about to sell.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, I mean, do you jump on or are you jumping off?
Well, this is the time I've been waiting for.
I mean, like, see, I sold him mid-season at just under his price peak, if you remember correctly. I was spewing that you guys talked me into the extra week. I lost 100K out of it. But now it's like, well, hold on. If that run is opening up, the points are going to come down that left-hand side.
Well,
so Talakai or Mulasalo has got to be one of the ones to get him.
Well, before they had this hard run in the Origin shit, that Ronaldo and Talakai, they were killing it. Absolutely braining it down that left side. Even Moylan. People who
now
strangely considering him for Supercoach. It's like,
I mean, we
shit.
were, weren't we?
That's how good that left-hand side was going.
But that being said...
And then...
Is Moylan being out going to affect this?
Well, Moylan will be back next week, but I don't think so. I think
Trindle's pretty good.
In that first half last week, Trindle was awesome.
Yeah.
I think your problem's Graham.
Put himself in the back pocket in the second half. But just with the quality of opposition right-hand side defence that they're coming up against and just their quality, I think Ronaldo and Talakai will return to pre-round 13 scoring and
Alright.
absolutely brain it, and you get them at a juicy bargain.
Well,
Can't
so
refuse it.
who's the more juicy of the two? Do you look at Talakai with the duel, or do you think
I've gone Ronaldo.
Ronaldo's got the more opportunity for a hat trick? I dare
I've
say.
gone Ronaldo personally, just because
See, I want the dry scorers. That's my goal.
that's
And
it.
Mulatalo was part of the dream team, I remember, because I remember the run that he went on the end of last season too. Just absolutely brained it. He lost a lot of cash.
No, he didn't.
No,
I brought him in at the end of last year,
His last 5 games, he done terrible.
and then
Oh,
he
yeah.
was killing it, and he went.
Oh, fell off a cliff.
But yeah, that's why it was so cheap at the start of this year. But like the thing with Talakai is he plays that position inside, and he doesn't love to pass the ball. So he's either running and scoring himself, or he's running trying to score himself, like Jesse Raymond, and then getting that late offload or flick pass away or whatever to Ronaldo. So you could see Talakai as the better buy, or you could see Moylan coming back, or Trindle using his half skills and just cutting Talakai out, going straight to.
Decoy and Talakai.
Which
or-
is the same drama they got with Raymond on the other side. He just breaks tackles. Like, you need nearly 2 blokes every time
Well,
to tackle him.
that's the same as Talakai.
That's
Like,
what I'm
you can't-
saying.
yeah.
That's
That's what
obviously
I'm
the
saying,
Shark
yeah.
system. That's
And
what
so-
they want in their centres.
Like, I didn't get a huge gauge on the way Dykes played last week. He seemed to be more of a support player through the middle than that sweeping fullback player from what I've seen, but Sharks didn't get much opportunity to show it, but I guess it depends on when the Sharks are on the front foot. Does Dyke come in and play that Will Kennedy role where he mainly comes in on the right-hand side, or does he play that sweeping role both ways and cut out that centre-back row and hit the wingers? Well, I need to
Okay,
see
you've got to
another
pick
week.
one right now. Votes in,
Ronaldo.
boys.
For me, I'd look at Ronaldo just because he's got the highest ceiling, I think.
Louis?
Yeah, I'd probably go Ronaldo. I've got Telekom on my team, and yeah.
Would you sell? I mean, you don't have trades?
One trade.
What are you thinking about doing with it?
I was tossing up possibly going Talakai to Ronaldo. Then at the same time, I was like, no, I'll probably go Aitken to Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Or Tass to Ronaldo.
So
Like
either way,
either one.
Either way, you want Ronaldo in your team this week.
Either that, or possibly looking at trading out David Fafita to I don't know.
Can you go to
I don't know,
Ronaldo via Jules?
Why would you trade out David Fafita?
Because he's been bitterly underwhelming.
He's had.
Fuck, Louis, tell us how you really feel, bro.
Oh,
He's fucking lazy.
this is first week under 50, isn't it?
I don't know. I got off him ages ago.
If I'm not sure, it could even be his first week under like 65. Like, he's done fuck all since he's been back, but he's averaging, well, I'd have to say close to 65, 70.
Well, would you... Okay, here's a situation.
I wouldn't trade Dave Feeder out. I'd be trading one of those other...
Maybe a Jai Arrow? No.
I'd-
He gets the base stats.
Jai Arrow
me-
would
for me-
definitely be going out of my
for-
team before Dave Feeder.
If I'm you personally, I don't trade this week. You got your week off.
I've got the week off, yeah.
You anything can happen this week. Look, if you've got money, even just 100k on the case Ronaldo gets 150 this week, and you really need to have him next week, you'll have your money there.
Oh,
I think if you're in the head-to-head finals, if
No,
you're in the head-to-head finals, I think you need to hang on to those trades, like, because can't go buy some off eBay.
Yeah,
This
and
is
you
it
don't
for
know
you,
what's going to
bro.
happen. Injuries are
And
just...
a COVID strike. Anything can happen from here to there, and you're burning your trade this week for what? You're not playing anyone. I know overall something, but whatever. You can make that back up next week or the week after.
Well, you
hopefully.
can't if you're in for overall at this point, but are you still in for overall?
No,
or-
no.
Like, it's
Well,
just
there
straight
you
out
go.
head-to-head at this
So
point.
that's if I'm you, I hang on to them trades, bro. That's just me. You do what you do. You're way better off this year than I am, but I'll hang on to that trade.
it's not just you. It's at this time of year you got to weigh up two things. Either you're playing for these head-to-head leagues to win these head-to-head leagues, or you're playing to come 900th and 47th and get a key ring
for $2 from China.
Cool. Like, if you're in cash leagues, I think they should be highly dominated over coming
A hug league.
Like, well,
Or-
just
or
coming
900th,
900th, like, to win a key ring for argument's sake. Like, who gives a at the end of the day?
Especially if it's a high paying.
Well, like, if you're in a cash league that's like $2,000 or whatever, is a key ring worth $2,000 to say, hey, I come top 1,000?
I didn't come first.
But I come top 1,000. But so yeah, that's what you got to weigh up at the end of the day. You got to either swallow your pride and just chase those head-to-head things, or go for your top ranking thing. And
don't get me wrong, if you're in the race and if you're in the race, then you keep racing.
If you're top 10, like within 100 and 300 points or whatever of the lead, absolutely. But if you're 947th and 780 points off the lead with 2 rounds to go, like,
fuck it, bro.
Maybe it's time to
get on your head-to-headers.
Just win some cash, man. Like, take home something.
Yeah.
All right, just other matchups quickly while we're talking. Young and Elliott both look primed to take some points if Tarpany's out for an extended period. I heard he's probably needled up next week, but...
Well, I mentioned, Brad, I think Elliott and Big Papa in the middle, that'll be more benefits. Hudson plays 80 minutes on the edge anyway. Like, nothing's going to change there. He's going to get his base. If he gets attacking stats, great. But it'll be more Elliott and Big Papa that'll benefit there.
Yeah. Now, just quickly before we finish on what we chatted on in there, now the marquee players. Now they're the reason you captain them. They're the blokes that can score 100 points in 6 minutes. Like Pappy did that time, it was 6 minutes to go, and he scored 100 points. These are the blokes you bring in. Like you brought them in there, your marquee players. Like they're your captain choices. Like I was going somewhere with that.
Who's your list of those players? Because you're right. Like we've all seen those players, right? Like where it looks like they've done nothing all game, and then all of a sudden, bang, they just skyrocket.
Nico Breves them.
Or they do 10 minutes of work at the start of the game and then disappear, or play for the first half and then they don't go anywhere after that. Like,
there's a couple prime examples of that where, like we mentioned earlier, the Paps.
Yeah.
Where he's on fuck all after 75 minutes, and in 4 minutes he scored 2 tries, set up 2 tries, and it was just, holy shit, yes, she captained him. And then there was this week where Cameron Murray just exploded out of the blocks. Set up 3 tries in the first 30 minutes. He was on 96 after 31 minutes. Now look back, after 63 minutes, he was on 103. It's like, what the fuck?
Do what he has to do early.
No, but just defense and hit-ups alone, surely you can get more than 7 points in 30 minutes from Cameron Murray. Like, I was a bit disappointed in that. So...
happens a lot, though, doesn't it?
It does. Like, KP's a good one.
Yeah.
They can just bang, bang, bang. Latrell, another one. The other week he was on not much, and then I can't remember who they were playing, but they just went to shit, and the South just tore them apart down the left-hand side, and Latrell was just throwing passes for fun. One of them shouldn't have been a try assist, should have been a try assist, Jed Cartwright, but Supercoach, we're just riding away for the month there with Latrell, just
doing a slot.
Good on you, Supercoach. You muppets.
Yeah, but they're the guys you want to captain. So, like, especially especially this week, like if you're up against your head-to-head opponent.
Well, okay, so Munster, is he a viable captain option this week against the Panthers?
For me, he's a VC. If you're gonna VC, but I wouldn't captain any or VC anyway.
I wouldn't be throwing a C anywhere against VC, anywhere against Penrith. They're too good, man.
Teddy, a captain option this week?
Who they play again?
I think they're playing.
They play in someone half decent, I think. So
Cowboys.
He's
playing Cowboys.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't. Expect,
I wouldn't do that either.
But there's a lot of players this week that have got tough matchups. So.
Trell against Para, Gutho against Trell.
See, well, that's it. Parramatta's a fickle bitch.
Yeah, which
Dylan Brown against Cody Walker.
Like, you don't even know which Parramatta's going to turn up within the first 20 to the second 20, let alone within the first 40 and the second 40, let alone within that week to next week. Like,
That's the game they're bringing.
They're-
They got everyone fucking
Well,
confused.
they're just like Bulldog supporters. Fickle as fuck.
Go away. We're great. But yeah, all right. Well,
Birdo. No. I'm really curious. Like, it's one of the other topics that we had on our list of stuff to talk about. Anyways, who are the viable captain options this week?
That's the question
Hines.
here from Nick Kuhn. Tough matchup this week. Captain Hines, but not sure on who we should throw the VC on. Now, for me, if you need the pod and everyone's going to be going Nico Hines, is Nico Hines the solidified guy this week? Is there someone else out there?
That's why I mentioned earlier about the.
Yeah, you got a wild one.
If you got a strong squad, maybe you can justify Bison Nico, and if he goes big, then bang, throw the loop on him because your auto emergency strong anyway. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It just depends on if there's a.
It's not really a
Juicy
viable
matchup.
matchup after it, really.
Well, I think Garrick against the Titans, or Olakawatu or something against the Titans, Cherry even against the Titans is
juicy.
a pretty good matchup. Even
Have the Titans put the Q in the rack for the year, you think? They've give up.
oh, they took the Q out of the rack this week. Yeah,
No, but like, have they give up? For
they've
you?
been
Like,
horrible all year, bro. They haven't played decent football since round 2.
Yeah.
Like, they've been the disappointment of the season. Everyone was expecting top 8 at least for the Titans with what they did, but
Yeah.
just comes back to show you sell
You can't buy
a
experience.
quality halfback.
Can't buy experience.
You can't buy a halfback, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they sold Fogarty, put all their chips in Toby Sexton's basket, and that basket just happened to have a weak bottom and it fell through.
So Nico's pretty much the viable guy. You reckon Ezra Man for a VC?
No, Ezra plays after.
Oh, yeah.
I think Nico is obviously the captain choice.
Yeah. No one else out there? Not a potty out there for anyone?
I'm going Garrick.
You're going to go
If
Garrett
everyone
yourself?
wants to jump on with me against Titans, I'm vice captain Nico with my strong bench. If he goes 150 plus, bang, loop him.
Yeah.
No,
No harm done.
nothing yet. That's it. And if he goes 57, let's go Garrick for a triple.
All right. So I think that's about all the Supercoach. What do you got on the liveys over there, Louis? We'll do the liveys, and then I'm going to go touch on the wheat-gutted dog.
Sean O'Vader says he's keeping Cotter as his pod. Play might be useful in 2 weeks. Made the Cowboys look a lot better when he came on versus our Dogs.
Bro, play him this week. He's a gun. I'm playing him this week. Glad I sort of hung on.
Yeah, I've hung on like you. Hadn't played him for the last 2 weeks, but he come on after 22 and a half minutes or something on the weekend. Played out the rest of the game. Had a good, decent PPM. And I'm thinking he's playing 70 plus, if not 80 this week. Pre-origin, pre-injury, minutes, form. Put him in your side, just bank him in, bro.
Yeah, he's solid.
Ride him.
Solid as a rock.
Queenslander!
Mullet.
And that's it for me.
That's it for the
That's
liveys?
it, yeah.
All right, cool. All right, the wheat gutted dog. Where are we going? Who wants to start with the wheat gutted dog? Was it a low blow from Ricky? Is it a brain snap from Ricky? Like, what do you reckon? I'll say my bit last.
It was all the above.
Yeah.
But from watching the NRL shows and interviews and everything in between now and then, and going off the punishment that the NRL gave Ricky, I'm just assuming that Ricky was highly justified in what he said. He absolutely said it in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he never, ever, ever should have done that, and nobody can justify that, no matter the situation. You can't just absolutely grill some young kid's life in front of millions of people. That's just absolutely not on. I don't care we come down so hard on social media bullying. This is just straight out bullying in the media.
It's massive.
I'm still taken aback from it, even though it was 5 days ago, and like I've never ever seen anything like this.
Oh, I don't think we'll ever see it again.
Like even when I've seen the most hated players play against each other in Origin time, they've never ever said anything to this extent or this drastic. Like this is,
let alone a coach,
like right out there. It's crazy, but for him to say it, and for the people that actually know the truth to be 100% behind him and be justified of it, I can only read between the lines and assume that Simmons attacked Ricky's autistic daughter throughout her primary school years, and the son to a certain extent as well, up to the age of 12. I don't know of any basis for that. Absolutely not accusing anyone of anything. But
massive assumption.
I just think with the NRL coming down with just a 1 week $25,000 fine, with them knowing the full extent of the story and everything that's going on, I think they've taken that into consideration. And if it wasn't to a certain extremity of the situation, the private life situation, Ricky probably wouldn't coach again this season.
Yeah.
Like if it was just he king hit my son in rugby league, junior football or whatever earlier on in life, I don't think that would fly. Yeah. I think Ricky wouldn't coach again this season, even if that was the case. Yeah. I think it has to be a deeper, more serious situation where,
well, for me,
it's been 12 years and Ricky's still fucking fuming.
Yeah, that's the fucking drama. That's the drama. It's been 12 years, and he's personally attacked this kid at a level which is, you know what? You can't do that in a workplace anymore, anywhere. Like, you can't go to work and you can't say that to anyone anymore. You'd be sacked. Like, it's one of them things. Wouldn't matter the circumstance.
Sorry, more to the point, like, I'd never ever do what Ricky did here, but he come out and defended the grub, Hudson Young, in that situation. So for him to come out and defend him, I personally think Ricky's a man of integrity, and he stands for something. So for him to come out and defend him, and then for him to throw old mate under the bus so easily, shit's gone down.
Well, the other thing is, like, that's a mental health thing too. Like, people might not realise this, but as soon as he's seen this kid lash out on the football field, he got in and he got stuck in. Like, that's something that
PTSD.
He should have let go of and dealt with.
But PTSD, bro, like it can affect everyone in certain ways and at certain times. Like, it's an uncontrollable thing. I'm not saying that's a defence at all.
No, I don't think we'll ever see anything like it. I don't think we'll ever see it again in footy. But
never.
Yeah. So for me, if they want to curve that, if they want to curve that, for me the NRL needs to say, well, right, this was an unprecedented thing, but they need to get every future coach and current coach and anyone and just sit them down and say, right, next time anything like this happens, we're stripping your team of competition points. The fines are going to be at least 5 times the amount of Ricky Stewart's one.
Oh, the punishment was an absolute joke.
Just that, for me, man, like, you know what, you got to think, right? If someone was to say that about Reggie after shit that had happened when he was a kid who hadn't learnt, you know what, when you're 12 years old, I hate to break it to you, your brain's only so equipped. You know, men aren't really equipped with their brains till 25, they say. Like, we still fucking la-di-da until we're then. But you know what I mean? So, for when you're a kid, a lot happens when you're a kid. I can attest to that. I was a bit of a pain in the ass kid. And I'm telling you, I wouldn't hang out with 21-year-old me. I was a fuckwit.
And still got hemorrhoids from you as a kid. You're that much of a pain in the ass.
Bro. Like, I wouldn't hang out. I wouldn't want 10-year-old me as a kid either. I'll flog it. But, you know, so he's just got an issue there. He's got to fix it, I think. The comment of the day, I think, was a couple of hours later, Jamin Salmon come out and said, I understand Ricky's furious and shit because he's got to turn up at work every day, coach a shit team in a shit like capital city, you know? Which, that's funny, you know, good on him.
Like we said at one point, yeah, that's funny and shit, but at the same point, it just shows the arrogance of the piece of shit.
Yeah, he's a bit of a fuckwit at the same time, you know? Because it's something we'd probably say. You's got a say on it, boys? Anyone want to have a say on the Ricky
Judge's
thing?
got a say on it.
No, well, I mean,
No?
nothing's happened against the Panthers. I don't know if it is
No,
something
nothing
personal.
will happen against Panthers.
If it is something personal,
It is. It's 100% personal.
then my only concern is that, you know, this may prove a distraction for the club. Wrong time of year for that. No one likes that.
What? Why doesn't Georgie Rose just jump in and say an MMA fight at the end of the year, boys? Ricky and Jamin.
Probably will.
No gloves. Let's fucking do it.
Watch a 23-year-old beat the shit out of a 50-year-old.
I'd be putting my money on Ricky personally. Ricky'd bite his ear off. Ricky wouldn't care. He'd go to all depths. Go stick.
All right. Well, you going to say? You got a say on it, Louis? You got a say on it?
Oh, well, my thoughts have already been said by you guys. I think it was wrong to come out and do it publicly in that way. But, I mean, obviously, from Ricky's point of view, there's obviously something serious that's gone on that, you know, has made you hold this personal vendetta against him for so many X amount of years. Obviously, whatever happened is serious, and yeah, there must be some justification behind it, definitely.
See, the thing is for me, right, is now this is all people are talking about, right? Like, and it's the wrong time of year for the Panthers. It takes a lot of heat off the Raiders. I mean, it puts a lot on Ricky. No one's talking about the Raiders team. No one's talking about the fact they lost the game the other night. You know, look.
Because they more than a game was lost that night, bro. The self-respect of a what is he, a 10 or 12-year coach now? He's about to coach his 500th game.
I don't think he's lost his self-respect at all.
He did a little bit, bro. He took his personal life and aired it out for the whole world to see, and now he has
against
no
a
choice
young
but to
kid.
give explanations. And what now? He's got to dig up the past of 12 years old when Jamin Salmon was a fucking 12-year-old kid who's, let's face it, probably a feeble fucking mind. It's probably not the greatest fucking mind anyone's ever seen. He hasn't killed cancer or anything.
So you justify James Salmon kicking Starling in the nuts?
I feel it was accidental.
Yeah,
It was accidental.
I don't feel there was malice in it, man.
You kick someone.
I'm not talking about the right leg that was situated in between the legs the whole time. I'm talking about the left leg to come up towards the groin area and then clearly struck
He's trying to get him off him. The tackle's clearly complete. Get off him. But the Raiders weren't doing that. The Raiders were climbing over him all night. And like that's it. They're trying to get a fast play the ball.
Fact to kick someone?
But no, like I said, it's accidental, man.
Panthers goggles are on fucking hard.
Nah, 100%. They're climbing over him.
Well, he got reported for the incident, so there must have been something in it.
Yeah. Yeah, you just can't kick people in. Yeah,
No, well that's it.
You
He's
can't
made
just kick people,
contact.
let alone there.
He's made contact.
Josh Reynolds changed all that, bro. You can
That's
you
trip.
can lash out.
That's totally different apples and oranges.
Yeah. Is anyone else going to Ricky, or are we moving along to head clashes and no justice for Dale?
No justice for anyone.
You go. It's your.
No, you go, bud.
The brutalest fucking head knock of the weekend. Victor Radley's. If you missed it.
Which one?
The one where you
First
could
one, the second one, or the third one?
The one where you could see his heartbeat,
Oh,
like
see-
literally the blood pouring out of his head in pulses. You knew how fast Victor's heart were beating if you could count, bro.
So not the second one when he had the strapping on and had the same contact and it was pitching out through underneath the strapping.
No, I've seen
or
that
the
one.
third one later on in the game where he come into contact with a lower body and then had blood coming out of the same injury again.
At that point, there was so much just like blood loss that
Right.
it was all moving around a bit more. You could hit him in the arm and just the liquid, which
like
just
a
falls
rag
out the
doll.
other
just
side.
He was running on green
Like a
whistle
broken
from
water
half
bottle.
time, bro. He was fucking.
Yeah, that first one, but like I said
Bro.
2 years before, I've never seen so much blood gushing from
A dude's head.
Litres of blood.
Clay Goiter after 5 rounds. As close as you could come to it.
People at the Red Cross would be so pissed. They'd be like, what a waste.
They can't. It's been sport science. They can't
But-
use it.
But for Victor to be in that situation, obviously someone's gone in there with some kind of intent, and there's been a head clash somewhere throughout the series of events, and Victor's come out with that.
Same thing as
why is there not even a fine or a mention
case.
or anything? But Dale gets 2 weeks for
The
hurting
same
Stephen Crichton's ear.
for tackling too fast.
Who was attacking?
and too hard.
Who was attacking? Who was defending?
Victor was defending.
And he's run out of the line, made contact, hit the head, and hasn't been placed on report.
No, Victor had the ball in hand.
Did he?
Yeah, Victor had the ball
so
in
there
hand.
you go. There's your well, so who was he?
So
who
why
hit
is
him?
it a difference?
Who hit him?
Whoever tackled him should have been
Yeah, who
punished.
hit
Can't remember off the top of my head who hit him.
I thought
Right.
Victor ran out and...
No,
It was
Victor
either-
had the ball in hand.
No, yeah, you're right. It was...
Yeah.
I think pass.
No, it was
Because if
Cows.
there isn't that, the thing with Finucane was the driving force out of the line,
It was the
and then direct
intent that he came out of
Yeah.
the line with.
and then the direct contact with the head as a result of that intent. Whereas if Victor ran into a head knock, then that's it. It shouldn't. I didn't see it. I wasn't really paying attention until I noticed Victor
But-
on the ground just go.
Well, you tell me, because Victor ran into Old Mate, did Old Mate not have intentions to go in there?
Jack
and
Turpin.
Jack Turpin,
like,
there you
Jack
go.
Turpin.
Did he
No,
not?
well, because
did he not go in there with intentions
Finucane
to smash?
bolted out of the line and
Did-
then didn't execute the tackle motion.
Fucking job.
Right?
Who
Well,
cares?
wait. But he didn't execute the tackle motion. The first contact was head to head.
Jake
You
Tur-
don't tackle with your head.
Jake Turpin didn't rush out of the line, and first contact was head to head, and Victor was bleeding profusely.
Yeah, but if he's
But-
holding his ground, then that's fine.
Why?
Because he's holding his ground. Victor's the one that would have had to lower down to Turpin's head height as it is to
No,
try and drive through him.
No way.
Well, I'm gonna have to see a replay of this now. You guys have gotten onto a tangent. I hope you got something else to talk about while I look it up.
I do.
There's nothing to talk about. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Dale was suspended
All
2
right.
weeks ago.
And then we have this next one, talking point, just footy again. Tariq Sims should have got fucking sent off.
Yeah, well, that was
but-
pretty a monster.
I think that's a unanimous one, that one.
Like, I couldn't believe that he stayed on the park. Honestly.
He couldn't believe that he
Nah.
only got 10.
Nah. He went home and bought Lotto.
I think everybody except for the bunker was expecting a send-off right there.
Yeah, it was insane, eh? You don't know, you just can't pick it, man. Like, in all honesty.
Well, you look back a week ago where Rabbitohs and Sharks were in that Golden Point game. There was extra time. Tom Burgess come running across and hit Old Mate's shoulder and then slightly glanced him over the head. And he got sent straight off. No if, buts, maybes.
Yeah.
Tariq Sim comes in, whacks Old Mate square with his forearm, elbow kind of region,
The heart.
knocks him the shit out, gets stretched it off. 10 minutes. What? How?
And the thing was, he didn't get stretched it off because he was injured. He got stretched it off because no one could talk to him to find out what injury was wrong with him.
Because he was sleeping.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, here's a bloke that's just been put to sleep by another man on a football field. Something no
What?
one wants to see. Like, don't get wrong. We like it.
What?
But
No,
whatever.
we don't like that.
Oh, we like the physicality of the
We like the
sport.
physicality. We like Sonny Bill whacking people in the chest and dominating them. But we don't. I don't want Tariq Sims whacking Old Mate in the chest, and I don't want big fucking Nels last week coming in and fucking just giving a big cheap elbow to fucking Wade Egan or whoever it was. I can't remember who it was. Mitch Kenny,
Yeah.
maybe. And like it's be tough. But be a man about being tough. Don't be fucking cheap and fucking grubby like that. Like, especially when you're Nels, you're fucking 7 foot fucking tall, almost 200 kilos, and you want to fucking drop your elbows into an 80 kilo fella. Like,
Yeah.
I just wish Nels played back in the day and he did that to a Joey or an Alfie or something, and Gordy or Chief or Spud fucking got a hold of him and
Glory days.
knocked
eh?
his teeth down his fucking jaw.
Be good. Yeah, how'd you go on your
Yeah, Turpin was just standing in the line where he's allowed to defend. He's just so much shorter than Victor. As Victor came down to charge, he's gone through him. but he's the attacking player. He's got every right to do that. Turpin's got every right to defend. What they're saying is, with the Finucane example, is Finucane doesn't have every right as the defending team to act like an attacking player and make direct contact head to head, because if that person isn't, well, no, he was carrying the ball when he got hit.
So Turpin and Victor Radley didn't make direct contact before a shoulder or an arm was engaged?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's the intent out of the line.
Why should that make a difference?
Because he literally charges out of the line as if he's trying to make a line break, but he's the defending team. And if that results in an HIA for another player or an injury for another player in the attacking team, then that's a foul play, really.
So if old mate charges onto the ball and then headbutts or hips old mate in the head.
If he had attempted a steal and had just been watching hands and eyes on the ball when the head contact was made, then he might have had an argument.
He ran at old mate trying to smash him. He head clashed. There was no illegal contact with shoulders, arms, torsos, whatever.
No, but that's what they're saying. Direct contact head-to-head isn't allowed like that. You've got to adjust your tackle technique and be attempting a tackle
but what
at
I'm
that
saying
point.
Is, it's never, ever been punished before that.
Well, that's how they set precedents, Con.
But
that's how this works.
Don't you say, all right, this is an example
they
of
want to
what
get
we're
head
not
injuries.
going to accept from now on?
Yes.
You don't just say, out of the blue, hey, boom, we got you 3 weeks, buddy. For what? For something that we're going to make up right now.
That's how most rules are made and start. You know what I mean?
Rules shouldn't be changed.
No, well, when you see things that you want to get out of the game, right? Then they find ways to get them out of the game.
I'm not saying that.
Currently, there is people calling for any form of your favourite person on the planet. Joey Johns is calling for 10 to 12 weeks for hip drops to get him out of the game.
I 100% agree with what you're saying. I agree with the hip drops, 100%. Grab axe.
But that's what I mean. Like, there's a way to get things that you don't want out of the game, and the NRL saw that, and they said, you know what? We don't want this in the game, and that's why they did that to Finucane. Turpin was just standing his ground in the line like a normal defender. It's a different thing. We get it. People shoot out of the line and make snapping hits on people.
Every single week.
Every single week in all sorts of games.
10 times a game.
But you know what they don't do? They don't make direct contact head-to-head when they do that. You've got to go down for a low tackle. Because that's what they're saying. If you make direct contact with the head out of that, they see that as incredible intent for
I'll challenge anyone to go through this whole weekend of football right now and show me that there is not one person who rushes out of a defensive line and first contact, like Dale Finucane, is not with the head, it's with the chest area, and then the head come into it. And if you can show me a whole round of football where not one person rushes out and there is not any resemblance of any head contact at all, I'll bow down and say, yep, you're 100% right. But you can go back through the last 120 years, 114 years of rugby league, and in every single game, there is incidental head contact from someone rushing out of the line trying to effect a tackle. And it's never, ever been punished. Ever. I get it, to take that and say, look, if this shit happens again, you're copping it. But to just come out and say it's Dale Finucane right there and then where nobody's ever been punished for it, look, you've been punished for a head clash 2 weeks, I think that's unfair.
Remember Magic Round? Remember that Magic
But
Round?
everyone knows you make contact with the head, you're getting punished. Just
No, but
because
they
the
didn't
NRL
really
was
know.
lax.
It got sprung on them,
No, they
8
didn't.
weeks into the season.
No, they got an email 4 weeks before Magic Round. They called their bluff. And the NRL fucking didn't buckle until about 3 or 4 weeks after Magic Round. And then they finally buckled. That's the problem, but they buckle. Fucking stand behind yourself. Punish these fuckers, like you said, Joey. 12 weeks. If you're hip dropping or you're doing grubby shit, smash the fuckers.
Speaking of grubby shit, the Melbourne Storm. Let's just quickly, I'm curious for Gregory's take on Brandy coming out and saying that the Storm
is clearly drunk.
What?
Go.
Yeah, with the Storm are the ones who've introduced all the gnarly tackles in the last 20 years. They brought wrestling into the game. I mean, I know it's not an original thought, but he came out and straight out said it.
Well, like I said, he thought it was a general consensus, and it pretty much is.
No one just says it.
But no, I just don't know if anybody's actually gone back and truly gone in depth and investigated where the first charges stemmed from, where these first incidents actually occurred, what team did it. Like, until they come back and show me that the Storm did the first 3 charges or whatever in each one of these chicken wing grapple tackles, fucking hammer wings, fucking whatever.
Well, Cannonball belongs to Isaac.
Like,
Luke.
No. But yeah, until someone come back and conclusively say that there's 3 prime examples for any other team did it, or there's 3 prime examples before Melbourne did it, it's all conjecture and hearsay, really. It's common knowledge, but it's common knowledge because everyone just says, "Oh yeah, Melbourne did it, Melbourne did it, Melbourne did it." Melbourne
Or
did it.
did someone else do it and Melbourne just
That's
got the
what I
best
mean.
at it?
Well, that's exactly.
quick
That's it.
fucking
It wasn't
learners,
sort of
Melbourne.
always done on the sly, and
No,
Melbourne
I
just
think
figured
you'll
out how
find.
to do it.
I think you'll find. Look,
That's
they
it.
might have had a hand in 1 or 2, but other clubs might have done something, and Melbourne seen it and gone, right, we can better that.
That's it. Did Melbourne just do it better than everyone else? And then it's like, hey, shit,
Let's face
let's
it.
draw attention to this. Well, I don't know. I don't have conclusive proof either way. I don't think anybody really has conclusive proof either way.
No, look at their you know what? Their club's good, mate. They got a secrecy thing, like that.
But that's what I mean. Like, unless you can come out with judiciary records that show the first 3 chicken wings, or the first 3 gap tackles, or the first 3 crushes, or the first 3 squirrel grabs, or whatever, were from the Storm, or were not from the Storm, you can't conclusively prove that they introduced it or they didn't.
Yeah, they were just good at shit.
They just bettered it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or did they start doing it? Other teams tried trying to copy them,
Possibly.
and then they got penalised because they weren't as good at it.
Possibly. They did have the best referee jiu-jitsu captain in the game.
Yeah, and
So
they had
it
wrestling coaches
doesn't
long
hurt.
before anyone else. Like,
Yeah.
No, they had Cameron Smith, bro. He could manipulate the ruck, manipulate the ref, manipulate the other team. He was like, hey, you don't want to kick for touch. And I'm like, yeah, we didn't want to kick for touch. But they really did want to kick for touch.
alrighty.
Cool. All right. Is that us sorted?
I think so. We got any more questions or anything there? No, sweet ass. Well, thanks for listening. Good luck in your head-to-heads if you're still in the game, and if not, and you're still listening, cheers.
Write it as it comes, guys. Don't rush into anything. Just strategically think out your trades throughout the weekend and rock on with your socks on.
Yeah. Be careful.